apologize.
Thank you, no problem. The chair now recognizes the gentlelady from Florida, Ms. Dean. Ms. Lee, sorry, I apologize.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you to each of the brave women here today representing your organizations for sharing your stories to help inform us as a committee and also to empower other women. I will always fight to protect the constitutional rights of law-abiding gun owners and women who are trained how to properly own and safely shoot a firearm are not just gaining a tactical skill. A woman with a firearm who's trained and understands how to use it has a line of defense against a home invader, a dangerous partner, or just any random act of violence. And as we have seen from our victims of violent crime hearings here in the Judiciary Committee, cities like Chicago, New York, and even Washington, D.C. are facing rampant, rising violent crime rates. So it is as important as ever for us all to be empowered and to be prepared. Women across the nation have the ability to defend themselves, their children, and their families. When we empower women and self-defense, we all benefit. I am especially proud to have Ms. Shirley Wottrell here today with us. As we've heard, she holds many titles as a firearms instructor and author, and also is my fellow Floridian. So thank you for being here today to share with us your testimony and your insight. I'd like to start here. Earlier during our hearing, Ms. Glenn testified about the significance of injunctions or protection orders and also hotlines as tools for survivors to escape abusive situations. And I agree those are important tools, but I'd like to hear your perspective on whether those tools are adequate or whether we need to be further empowering women to protect themselves and their families.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Speaking from my experience, my restraining order did not stop my abuser. The restraining order, as has been said many times, is a piece of paper. It's just for record. So that piece of paper is not going to keep me safe. So I have to learn and figure out a way to defend myself. Like I said, there was plenty of times I knew that this person was trying to kill me. I had to depend on the law enforcement. But what if they didn't know what he was doing or where he was? Who was going to come to and save me but me? And that's why I carry. I carry because my life is important to me now. And I'm going to also share, my first firearms class wasn't just about learning to protect myself. It changed me internally. Who I was, how I acted, who I engaged with, and how I let people treat me. And that is more important. And I think a key to putting an end to domestic violence is empowering our young women so they don't accept unacceptable behavior. And they start understanding that their life is worth something more than what someone else is trying to tell you.
And on that subject, how is it that you believe firearm ownership in particular helps contribute to the concept of gender equality when it comes to self-defense?
Well, once again, I'll share from my experience. When I was trying to fight my way out of being held hostage in my abuser's home, I could not overpower him. There was nothing I did. I tried everything that I knew, and everything failed. My only goal, when he, like I said, when he brought that firearm, that was going to be my salvation, my freedom. I was either going to defend myself or alert the neighbors. And to my disappointment, the gun did not go off. So I think it's very important, and it's very important to me, to be able to defend myself, and my equalizer I choose as a firearm.
Another thing that you've touched on is the concept of abusers and repeat offenders getting back out on the street or not being held to account for their crimes. Tell us, if you would, how soft on crime policies that allow those repeat offenders or abusers to remain at large and at liberty are endangering women, and how you have seen that affect women in America.
Well, just based on the media that I hear, there are so many times that an offender, a criminal, is out on the streets with hardly any bail, and they're repeat offenders. If they're repeat offenders, that means they're going to do the violent crime that they've already been doing. So if we put them and make them accountable for their crimes, that makes our community safer. And women need to feel that the government is behind them. If I am going to put myself out there and I'm going to go to court against my abuser, I want to know that the government is going to be there behind me and make sure that he does his time. And he doesn't, that early dismissal, that he can come out and then threaten me some more. I want to know the government's there and going to stop him from doing that.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to recognize the folks who